There are moments when the world grows quiet around you, not the peaceful kind of quiet that feels like rest, but the kind that feels heavy, uncertain, and unanswered. In those moments, silence can feel like a question left hanging in the air, like something important was said but never finished. You may find yourself wondering if your prayers are still being heard, if your struggles are still seen, if your presence still matters when nothing seems to move or change. Silence has a way of stirring fears that noise once kept hidden. It can make you replay memories, revisit old wounds, and question whether you have been forgotten in the stillness. But even here, even now, you are not forgotten. Silence does not mean absence. It does not mean you have been left behind. It often means that something deeper is taking place, something that does not need to announce itself to be real. Love remains present even when it is quiet, steady even when reassurance does not arrive in words. You have not been overlooked. You have not been set aside. You are still known, still held, still remembered in ways that go beyond what you can see or feel in this moment. There are seasons when answers would come too quickly if they were given right away. Seasons when clarity would interrupt a process that needs time to unfold gently. In those seasons, love chooses presence over explanation. It chooses to stay with you rather than rush you forward. You may not sense it immediately, but that presence surrounds you, patient and unwavering, asking nothing from you except that you remain. You are not required to understand everything that is happening right now. You are not expected to feel strong when you are tired or certain when you are unsure. You are allowed to be here as you are, without fixing, without performing, without pretending that the silence does not affect you. The quiet you are experiencing is not empty. It is filled with care that does not pressure you, care that allows you to breathe without expectation. You are not behind because things feel still. Stillness is not failure. It is often where trust begins to form, slowly and quietly, without force. There have been times when you felt forgotten by circumstances, by people, perhaps even by yourself. Those experiences leave marks, shaping how you interpret silence now. Love understands why quiet can feel frightening when it has once meant loss, rejection, or distance. It understands why your mind reaches for explanations, why your heart tightens when reassurance does not arrive quickly. But this silence is different. It is not abandonment. It is not withdrawal. It is a space where something within you is being strengthened, even if you cannot yet see how. You are allowed to bring your doubts here, your weariness, your unanswered questions. Nothing you feel disqualifies you from care. You do not have to prove your faith or your worth to be remembered. Even now, as you listen, as you pause, love is meeting you exactly where you are. There is no timeline you must follow. There is no standard you must meet before you are worthy of presence. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right here, and that is enough. As the noise of expectation softens, you may begin to notice a quieter reassurance settling within you. Not dramatic or overwhelming, but steady. This reassurance does not demand that you feel better immediately. It simply reminds you that you matter, that your life holds meaning even in seasons that feel unfinished. Silence is not the end of connection. It is often where connection deepens, where trust learns to exist without constant reassurance. You may not feel comfort right away, and that is okay. Love does not require you to respond in any particular way. It allows you to take your time, to sit with what you feel without rushing to resolve it. When the quiet stretches longer than you expected, it can tempt you to assume the worst, to believe that nothing is happening because nothing is visible. But growth does not always announce itself with movement you can measure. Some of the most important work happens beneath the surface, strengthening roots rather than producing immediate results. You are not being ignored in this stillness. You are being supported in a way that is quieter than you are used to, but no less real. There is a difference between being left alone and being allowed space. Love knows that you need space sometimes, not to be abandoned, but to breathe, to feel, to reconnect with what is true beneath the noise of fear and expectation. In this space, you are not required to have answers. You are invited to rest in the truth that you are not forgotten, even when nothing seems to be happening. Waiting can feel uncomfortable, especially if you are used to measuring progress by visible change. It can feel like time is slipping away, like life is moving on without you. But waiting is not wasted time. It is not a pause in your worth or your value. It is part of becoming. Love remains attentive during this waiting, aware of every thought that drifts through your mind and every emotion that rises unexpectedly. It does not ask you to silence your questions. It welcomes them, knowing that honesty is part of connection. You are allowed to ask why. You are allowed to wonder how long. You are allowed to admit that the quiet feels heavy. Love does not withdraw when you express uncertainty. It remains close, offering presence rather than quick fixes. There may be moments when you feel tempted to fill the silence with distraction, to avoid the discomfort of not knowing. Love understands that instinct. It does not condemn it, but it gently invites you to notice what happens when you allow yourself to stay, even briefly, without trying to escape the quiet. Often, what emerges is not fear, but a deeper awareness of yourself, a recognition of needs you have been carrying quietly, a longing for rest that you have postponed for too long. Love meets those discoveries with gentleness. It does not overwhelm you with change. It simply offers support, reminding you that you do not have to navigate this season alone. You may notice that the silence reveals things you had not intended to face, emotions you had set aside because there was always something more urgent to attend to. This can be unsettling, but love does not expose you to harm. It brings awareness so that healing can begin without pressure. You are not being confronted to be punished. You are being invited to understand yourself more deeply, to offer yourself the compassion you have often extended to others more easily than to yourself. Even when the silence feels uncomfortable, love remains steady. It does not disappear when you struggle to trust it. Trust grows slowly, especially if it has been shaken before. Love honors that slowness. It does not demand belief without experience. It allows experience to build belief naturally. You may not feel confident in this process yet, and that is okay. Confidence is not required. Willingness is enough. A willingness to remain open, even a little, even on days when doubt feels louder than reassurance. Silence often asks you to sit with questions that have no immediate answers. This can feel unsettling in a world that values certainty and speed. But love does not operate on urgency. It values depth over efficiency. It is not concerned with how quickly you move forward, but with how gently you are held while you do. You are not being delayed. You are being prepared in ways that will serve you long after this season passes. When fear whispers that you have been forgotten, that nothing is happening, that you have somehow missed your moment, love remains calm. It does not argue with fear aggressively. It simply stays, offering a steadiness that fear cannot sustain indefinitely. Over time, that steadiness begins to speak louder than your doubts. You may not notice it at first, but gradually the space between panic and peace grows shorter. You begin to recover more quickly when worry arises. You begin to trust that silence does not automatically mean loss. This trust does not erase uncertainty, but it softens its edges. You learn how to carry questions without letting them consume you. You learn that not knowing does not equal being unloved. Love continues to remind you of this, not through constant reassurance, but through consistency. It remains the same today as it was yesterday, regardless of how you feel. There is comfort in this sameness, even if it takes time to recognize it. You may find yourself looking back at earlier seasons of your life and realizing that there were times when silence preceded growth, when uncertainty came before clarity. At the time, those seasons may have felt confusing or even painful. In hindsight, you may see how they shaped you, how they strengthened your capacity to trust, to wait, to remain present without control. Love is working in similar ways now, even if you cannot yet see the outcome. You are not required to understand the purpose of this season for it to matter. Purpose often reveals itself later, through reflection rather than explanation. For now, presence is enough. Love is enough. As you sit with this moment, breathing gently, allowing the quiet to exist without forcing it to change, know that you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not overlooked. Even in silence, you are remembered with care that does not fade, with attention that does not waver, with love that does not depend on noise to prove itself. Stay here a moment longer. Let the stillness hold you rather than frighten you. You are not alone in it. You never have been. There are seasons in life when waiting becomes heavier than any clear hardship, not because something painful is happening, but because nothing seems to be happening at all. In these seasons, you may find yourself looking for signs, for movement, for some indication that your prayers are leading somewhere, that your patience has a purpose. Waiting without answers can feel like standing in place while time moves forward around you, as if life is quietly continuing while you remain suspended in uncertainty. This kind of waiting is not loud. It does not announce itself with drama. It settles into your thoughts slowly, making you question whether your efforts, your faith, or your hope are still meaningful. Love understands how difficult this kind of waiting can be. It knows how unanswered questions can slowly wear down your confidence, how the absence of direction can make you doubt your instincts, your worth, even your place. But waiting without answers does not mean you are being ignored. It does not mean nothing is happening. Often, it means that something is forming beneath the surface, something that requires time rather than immediacy. Love remains present in this waiting, not as a force pushing you forward, but as a steadiness that keeps you from being lost to despair. You are not waiting alone, even when it feels that way. There is a difference between waiting in isolation and waiting while being held. Even if you cannot feel it clearly, love is holding you through this uncertainty, allowing the process to unfold without rushing you into conclusions you are not ready to carry. Waiting can awaken fears you did not know were still there, can bring old doubts back to the surface, whispering that if nothing has changed yet, maybe it never will. These thoughts can feel convincing, especially when silence stretches longer than expected. Love does not dismiss these fears. It understands why they arise. When answers are delayed, the mind naturally tries to protect itself by preparing for disappointment. But protection through pessimism comes at a cost. Can slowly close your heart, making waiting feel colder and heavier than it needs to be. Love gently invites you to notice this tendency, not to judge it, but to understand it. You learn to anticipate loss because at some point waiting led to pain. That history matters. It shapes how you interpret the present. Love honors that history, but it also reminds you that the present moment is not the same as the past. Silence now does not automatically mean the same outcome as before. You are not doomed to repeat every previous disappointment. Waiting can be different this time, not because circumstances are guaranteed to change quickly, but because you are not facing them without support. Love remains steady even when outcomes are uncertain. It does not promise immediate resolution, but it promises presence, and presence changes the experience of waiting. There are moments when waiting feels passive, like something being done to you rather than something you are choosing. This can make you feel powerless, as if your life is on hold until something external decides to move. Love reframes waiting gently, not as stagnation, but as a form of participation in a process you cannot yet fully see. You are not wasting time by waiting. You are not failing because answers have not arrived. Waiting is not a verdict on your worth or effort. It is a season that asks for endurance rather than action, trust rather than control. This does not mean you are expected to wait perfectly or calmly. Restlessness is part of waiting. Frustration is part of waiting. Love does not require you to feel peaceful all the time in order to be faithful. It simply invites you to remain open, to resist the urge to shut down completely because certainty is absent. Remaining open is not easy. It requires vulnerability, especially when outcomes are unclear. Love recognizes the courage in that vulnerability. It sees the strength it takes to keep your heart from closing when answers do not come quickly. You may notice that waiting changes your relationship with time. Days can feel longer, weeks more indistinct, as if everything blends together without clear markers of progress. This can be disorienting. Love does not rush you through this disorientation. It allows you to move at a pace that respects your emotional capacity. There is no advantage in forcing clarity before it is ready to arrive. Sometimes, answers given too soon would not land the way they need to. They would be misunderstood, resisted, or forgotten. Waiting prepares you to receive what comes next with greater depth and stability. You are not being delayed to test your patience. You are being prepared in ways that will matter later, even if those ways are invisible now. Preparation does not always feel productive. Often it feels like nothing, but love is attentive during this nothing, shaping your capacity to trust, to rest, to remain present without needing constant reassurance. These capacities are not small. They will support you long after this season passes. There may be days when you feel tempted to give up on expecting anything at all, when hope feels too tiring to maintain. Love does not shame you for feeling this way. It understands that hope can feel heavy when it has been carried for a long time without relief. You are not required to force optimism in order to be supported. Love meets you even when hope feels thin. It does not depend on your emotional state to remain with you. When hope fades, love does not withdraw. It stays, offering a quieter form of support that does not require you to believe strongly or feel encouraged. Sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is simply continue, even without enthusiasm. Love honors that continuation. It sees the quiet resilience in showing up again, even when waiting feels discouraging. You are not weak because you feel tired of waiting. You are human. Waiting without answers can also make you question your direction. You may wonder if you misunderstood something earlier, if you made the wrong choice, if you missed an opportunity that will not return. These thoughts can spiral quickly, turning waiting into self-blame. Love gently interrupts the spiral, reminding you that uncertainty does not mean you failed to discern correctly. Paths are rarely linear. Growth often includes pauses, detours, and periods of stillness that make sense only in hindsight. You are not being punished with uncertainty. You are being allowed to slow down in a world that rarely encourages rest. Slowing down can feel threatening if you are used to measuring your worth by progress. Love invites you to consider another measure, one that values presence over productivity, integrity over speed. You are not losing ground by waiting. You are learning how to stand without constant motion. There is a particular loneliness that can accompany waiting, especially when it seems like others around you are moving forward, receiving answers, or finding clarity. Comparison can quietly intensify the discomfort of waiting, making you feel left behind or out of step. Love understands how painful this comparison can be. It does not deny that others may be in different seasons. It simply reminds you that your path is not behind theirs. It is different. Seasons are not rankings. Waiting does not mean you are less favored or less capable. It means your life is unfolding at its own pace, with its own needs and timing. Love does not measure success by how quickly you move compared to others. It measures faithfulness by your willingness to remain present where you are. You are not overlooked because your journey looks quieter right now. Quiet does not mean insignificant. Some of the most enduring transformations begin quietly. When waiting stretches on, it can be tempting to assume that if something important were happening, you would feel it more clearly. Love challenges this assumption gently. Feeling is not the only indicator of reality. There are things happening within you that are not accompanied by strong emotion or clear awareness. You are learning how to exist without constant validation, how to trust without immediate feedback. This learning is subtle, but it is powerful. It changes how you will respond to future uncertainty, how you will hold questions without being overwhelmed by them. Love is patient as this learning unfolds. It does not demand quick mastery. It allows repetition, knowing that trust is built through experience rather than instruction. You may find yourself asking how long this waiting will last, whether there is an endpoint you can look toward. Love does not offer a timeline because timelines can turn waiting into pressure. Instead, it offers companionship. You are not meant to count the days until something changes. You are meant to be supported through them. Support does not always feel like relief. Sometimes it feels like endurance made possible. Love provides that endurance quietly, strengthening you in ways you may only recognize later. Even now, when you feel unsure or weary, love remains attentive, aware of your limits, gentle with your fatigue. You are not expected to wait gracefully. You are allowed to feel the weight of it honestly. Honesty does not threaten love. It deepens it. Waiting without answers invites you to confront the desire for control, the wish to manage outcomes so that uncertainty feels less threatening. Love understands this desire. Control often feels safer than trust. But control can also become exhausting, especially when outcomes remain out of reach. Love does not demand that you relinquish control all at once. It invites you to loosen your grip gradually, to notice what happens when you allow uncertainty to exist without trying to resolve it immediately. Often, what emerges is not chaos, but a quieter awareness of what you can and cannot influence. This awareness can be relieving. It allows you to conserve energy, to focus on what is within your reach rather than what is not. Waiting becomes more bearable when you stop trying to force it into resolution. As you continue in this season, you may begin to notice small shifts, not in circumstances, but in how you carry them. You may recover more quickly from discouragement. You may find it easier to pause rather than panic. These shifts are not dramatic, but they matter. They indicate that waiting is shaping you, not breaking you. Love is working through this shaping gently, without announcing progress. You are not required to feel transformed to be changing. Change often happens quietly, in the background of daily life, integrating itself slowly until it becomes part of how you move through the world. Waiting without answers is not the absence of growth. It is a form of growth that prioritizes depth over visibility. Even now, as you sit with this uncertainty, love remains with you. It does not grow impatient with your questions. It does not withdraw when doubt surfaces again. It remains steady, offering a presence that does not depend on outcomes. You are not forgotten in this waiting. You are not invisible. You are not alone. The absence of answers does not mean the absence of care. It means you are being held in a season that requires trust rather than clarity. Stay here for a moment longer. Breathe. You do not need to rush ahead. Love will meet you wherever you are, even here, even now, even in the waiting. There are seasons when faith itself begins to feel heavy, not because you no longer believe, but because believing has required more from you than you feel able to give. In these moments, faith does not feel like confidence or strength. It feels like effort. It feels like waking up each day and choosing to keep going even when reassurance feels distant. You may find yourself tired of hoping, tired of waiting, tired of trying to trust when nothing around you seems to confirm that your trust is making a difference. Love understands this tiredness. It knows the weight of carrying faith through uncertainty, the quiet exhaustion that comes from continuing without visible results. Feeling tired does not mean your faith is gone. It means your heart has been working hard for a long time. When faith feels tired, you may begin to question whether you are doing something wrong, whether your belief is insufficient, or whether you should be feeling more certain by now. These questions can create guilt, as if exhaustion itself were a failure. Love does not see it that way. Love does not measure faith by energy or enthusiasm. It does not require constant confidence. Faith that continues quietly, even when it feels weak, is still faith. You are not disqualified because you feel worn down. You are not less worthy of care because your strength feels limited. Love meets you in your fatigue, not asking you to push harder, but inviting you to rest more honestly. There are times when faith becomes more about endurance than inspiration. You may not feel uplifted or encouraged. You may simply feel committed to not giving up entirely. This kind of faith can feel unimpressive, even disappointing, especially if you expected belief to bring peace more quickly. But love recognizes the courage in endurance. Continuing to show up, even without excitement, requires a depth of trust that is often overlooked. You are not failing because faith feels different now. Faith changes shape across seasons. Sometimes it is loud and hopeful. Sometimes it is quiet and persistent. Both forms matter. When you are tired, you may find it difficult to pray the way you once did. Words may feel empty or repetitive. Silence may replace what used to be conversation. This can make you worry that connection has been lost. Love understands this shift. Prayer does not stop being meaningful when it becomes quiet. Silence is not a sign that you have nothing left to offer. Often, silence is what remains when words are no longer necessary. Love does not require eloquence or effortful devotion. It receives your presence, even when you have no words to give. Sitting quietly is still a form of connection. You may feel pressure, either from yourself or from others, to remain strong, to stay hopeful, to maintain a certain appearance of faithfulness. This pressure can deepen your exhaustion, making faith feel like another responsibility rather than a source of support. Love does not add to this pressure. It removes it. You are not required to perform belief. You are allowed to be honest about how tired you feel. Love is not threatened by your weariness. It does not withdraw when you admit that you are struggling. It draws closer. There is a difference between losing faith and being tired of carrying it alone. Often, what feels like doubt is actually fatigue. You have been holding questions, waiting without answers, and continuing despite uncertainty. Anyone would feel tired under those conditions. Love does not interpret your exhaustion as rejection. It sees it as a signal that you need support, not correction. You do not need to try harder. You need to be held more gently. When faith feels tired, You may notice a longing to be relieved of responsibility, a desire to stop striving altogether. This longing is not weakness. It is wisdom emerging through fatigue. Love invites you to listen to it. There are moments when surrender is not about giving up belief, but about releasing the need to manage everything yourself. You do not have to carry faith as a burden. It was never meant to weigh you down. Love offers to carry what you can no longer hold. You may remember earlier times when faith felt easier, when trust came naturally and hope felt abundant. Comparing the present to those memories can deepen your discouragement. Love does not ask you to return to who you were then. It honors who you are now. Growth often includes seasons of simplicity and seasons of complexity. You are not regressing because faith feels harder. You are encountering it at a deeper level, where it asks for honesty rather than certainty. There are days when you may feel disconnected, not only from answers but from yourself. Fatigue can dull emotions, making everything feel muted or distant. Love does not interpret this numbness as absence. It understands that tiredness can quiet feeling as a form of self-protection. You are not broken because you feel less. You are resting in a way that may not yet feel comforting, but is still necessary. Love remains present even when your awareness of it fades. When faith feels tired, you may worry that you are disappointing God, that your lack of energy or enthusiasm is somehow unacceptable. Love gently releases you from that fear. Disappointment implies expectation that you cannot meet. Love's expectation is not that you be endlessly strong, but that you be honest. Honesty deepens connection. Pretending only creates distance. You are not disappointing love by being human. There is a quiet permission offered in this season, permission to rest without guilt, permission to admit that you do not have answers, permission to remain without forcing clarity. Love does not rush you through fatigue. It knows that rest cannot be commanded. It must be allowed. You are not required to resolve your doubts before you are cared for. Care comes first. You may find that in your tiredness, you become more compassionate toward others, more patient with struggle, more aware of limitations. These are not signs of decline. They are signs of deepening. Love often reshapes faith through vulnerability, not triumph. When you are less focused on being right or strong, you become more open to being supported. This openness is not weakness. It is alignment. There may be moments when you fear that tired faith will eventually fade completely. Love does not share this fear. It knows that faith does not disappear simply because it rests. What fades is the strain, not the connection. Resting faith often returns quieter, steadier, less anxious. It may look different than before, but it is no less real. Love trusts this process even when you do not. As you sit with your fatigue, know that you are not alone in it. Love is not waiting for you to recover before it stays close. It is with you now, attentive to every breath, every doubt, every moment of weariness. You do not have to fix your faith. You do not have to revive it through effort. You are allowed to let it rest in love's care. Faith that feels tired is not faith that has failed. It is faith that has been faithful for a long time. It has carried you through uncertainty, through silence, through waiting. Now it asks for gentleness. Love offers that gentleness freely. You are still held. You are still seen. You are still remembered. Even here, even now, even in your tiredness, love remains with you. There comes a point in many journeys where the desire to understand becomes heavier than the uncertainty itself. You may notice how much energy has been spent trying to make sense of what is happening, why it is happening, and when it will finally change. Understanding can feel like safety, like a way to regain control over what feels unstable. When explanations are missing, the mind searches tirelessly, replaying events, conversations, and decisions, hoping clarity will appear if you think hard enough. Love sees this effort. It understands the comfort you hope understanding will bring. But love also knows when the search for answers begins to exhaust you more than it helps you. The need to understand often grows stronger when you have been waiting for a long time. Without clear direction, your thoughts may turn inward, questioning whether there is something you missed or misunderstood. This self-examination can quietly turn into self-blame, making you feel responsible for the uncertainty you are experiencing. Love gently interrupts this pattern. Not everything that is unclear because of a mistake. Some things are unclear because they are still forming. You are not failing because you do not yet understand. You are encountering a season that asks for trust rather than explanation. Understanding promises relief, but it does not always deliver it. Even when you find partial answers, they often lead to more questions. The mind is rarely satisfied for long. Love offers an alternative kind of rest, one that does not depend on having everything explained. Releasing the need to understand does not mean giving up curiosity or wisdom. It means loosening the belief that peace is impossible without clarity. Peace can exist alongside unanswered questions. You are allowed to rest even when not everything makes sense. There is vulnerability in admitting that you do not understand what is happening. It can feel like weakness in a world that values certainty and confidence. Love reframes this vulnerability as honesty. Honest uncertainty is not a flaw. It is a natural response to complexity. You are not expected to comprehend every part of your journey in real time. Some understanding only arrives with distance, after experiences have settled and perspective has had time to form. Love does not rush this process. It allows meaning to emerge slowly. You may notice how tightly you have been holding on to the idea that if you could just understand, you could finally relax. This belief places a heavy burden on your mind, turning every unanswered question into a source of tension. Love invites you to set that burden down, even temporarily. You do not have to solve your life in order to live it. You do not have to understand the future to be present now. Letting go of the need to understand does not mean letting go of responsibility. It means letting go of unnecessary pressure. There is a difference between wisdom and control. Wisdom grows through experience, patience, and reflection. Control seeks immediate certainty and resists what cannot be predicted. When understanding becomes a form of control, it can limit your ability to remain open. Love encourages openness, not because it guarantees comfort, but because it allows growth. When you release the need to understand everything, you create space for learning that is deeper than explanation. You begin to notice what you are feeling rather than constantly analyzing why you feel it. You may fear that if you stop trying to understand, you will become passive or careless. Love does not ask you to disengage from your life. It asks you to engage differently. Instead of trying to anticipate every outcome, you are invited to respond to what is directly in front of you. This shift can feel unsettling at first. It removes a familiar strategy for managing anxiety. But over time, it can bring a surprising sense of relief. You no longer have to carry the weight of knowing everything in advance. There are moments when understanding would actually interfere with what is needed. Some lessons cannot be taught through explanation alone. They must be lived, felt, and integrated over time. Love trusts this process even when it feels uncomfortable. You are not being kept in the dark as a punishment. You are being allowed to experience growth without the pressure of immediate comprehension. This kind of growth is often quieter, but it is also more durable. Releasing the need to understand also softens your relationship with yourself. When you stop demanding clarity, you stop judging yourself for confusion. You allow yourself to be human, to not have everything figured out. This self-compassion creates internal safety, making uncertainty easier to tolerate. Love does not expect perfection from you. It expects honesty and willingness. You are allowed to say, "I do not know," without feeling inadequate. There may be resistance as you consider letting go of understanding. The mind may argue that vigilance is necessary, that relaxing your grip will lead to mistakes or missed opportunities. Love listens to this fear without dismissing it. It simply reminds you that constant vigilance is not sustainable. You were not designed to carry the future entirely on your own. Trust does not mean ignoring reality. It means acknowledging that some things are beyond your control and choosing not to exhaust yourself trying to manage them anyway. As you begin to release the need to understand, you may notice a shift in how you experience time. Moments feel less rushed, less pressured. You become more aware of what is actually happening rather than what might happen. This awareness can bring a sense of grounding that analysis often disrupts. Love is present in this grounding. It meets you in the present moment, not in the hypothetical outcomes your mind tries to predict. Letting go of understanding does not mean that answers will never come. It means you are no longer holding your breath until they do. You allow yourself to live, to rest, to feel, even while questions remain. This is not resignation. It is trust expressed through patience. Love honors this patience, knowing how difficult it can be to maintain. You may begin to see that your worth has never depended on your ability to understand everything. You are not more valuable when you are certain, nor less valuable when you are confused. Love remains constant regardless of your clarity. This constancy is what makes it safe to release control. You are not risking abandonment by admitting uncertainty. You are stepping into a relationship that does not require you to have all the answers. There is freedom in realizing that understanding is not the foundation of peace. Presence is. When you are present, you can respond to life as it unfolds rather than trying to predict it. Presence allows you to notice moments of care, beauty, and support that analysis often overlooks. Love becomes easier to recognize when you are not constantly searching for explanations. As you practice releasing the need to understand, be gentle with yourself. This is not a one-time decision but a gradual process. There will be days when the urge to analyze returns strongly. Love does not criticize you for this. It invites you to notice the urge and gently release it again. Each time you do, even briefly, you are strengthening your capacity to trust. You are not being asked to walk blindly. You are being asked to walk attentively, without demanding certainty at every step. Love walks with you, not ahead of you with all the answers, but beside you with steady presence. You do not have to know where this season is leading to be supported within it. Releasing the need to understand creates space for a different kind of knowing, one that is felt rather than explained. This knowing is quieter and less urgent. It does not answer every question, but it reassures you that you are not lost. Love remains with you in the mystery, patient and unhurried. Stay here for a moment. Notice the relief that comes from not having to figure everything out right now. You are allowed to rest your mind. You are allowed to trust without clarity. You are still held, still guided, even when understanding feels incomplete. Love does not require explanation to remain faithful. It remains steady and present as you learn to let go. There is a kind of tiredness that goes beyond the body, a weariness that settles into your thoughts and emotions after you have been holding yourself together for too long. In this state, rest can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. You may notice resistance when you try to slow down, as if stopping would somehow confirm that you are falling behind. Guilt often accompanies this resistance, whispering that you have not done enough to deserve rest, that pausing is irresponsible when there are still unanswered questions and unresolved situations. Love understands this struggle. It knows how easily rest becomes associated with failure rather than care. But rest was never meant to be earned. It was meant to be received. Learning to rest without guilt requires unlearning the belief that your value is tied to constant effort. This belief can be deeply ingrained, reinforced by expectations, responsibilities, and past experiences where stopping felt unsafe. Love does not shame you for holding this belief. It gently invites you to examine it. You are not more worthy when you are exhausted, and you are not less worthy when you are still. Rest does not diminish your commitment or your faith. It sustains them. Without rest, even the strongest intentions begin to fray. You may notice that when you finally allow yourself to pause, discomfort arises instead of relief. Thoughts rush in, reminding you of what remains undone, what you still do not understand, what you fear might happen if you stop paying attention. Love does not interpret this discomfort as a sign that rest is wrong. It sees it as a sign that you have been carrying too much for too long. When the body and mind finally slow down, everything that was held at bay comes forward to be acknowledged. This is not a failure of rest. It is part of its purpose. Guilt often disguises itself as responsibility. It tells you that resting is selfish, that others need you to remain alert and available. Love offers a different perspective. Caring for yourself is not a withdrawal from responsibility. It is a way of honoring your limits so that you can remain present without resentment or depletion. You were not designed to give endlessly without receiving care in return. Rest allows your capacity for compassion and patience to be renewed rather than consumed. There may be fear beneath the guilt, fear that if you rest, you will lose momentum, miss opportunities, or fall into passivity. Love understands this fear. It does not dismiss it lightly, but it gently reminds you that rest does not erase direction, clarifies it. When you are rested, you are more able to discern what truly matters rather than reacting to everything that demands attention. Rest is not an escape from life. It is a way of re-entering life with greater steadiness. Learning to rest without guilt also means releasing the idea that rest must look a certain way to be valid. Rest is not always sleep or complete inactivity. Sometimes it is allowing yourself to be present without trying to fix anything. Sometimes it is choosing gentleness in your thoughts instead of criticism. Love does not impose a rigid definition of rest. It allows you to discover what restores you rather than what simply distracts you. Restoration may feel subtle at first, especially if you are accustomed to pushing through fatigue. You may notice that rest brings up emotions you have postponed feeling. Slowing down removes the distractions that once kept those emotions at a distance. Love remains with you as these feelings surface. You are not resting incorrectly because you feel sadness, frustration, or grief when you pause. Rest creates space for honesty. It allows you to acknowledge what has been heavy without needing to resolve it immediately. Love does not rush this honesty. It knows that healing often begins with permission to feel. There can be a temptation to justify rest by productivity, to say you will rest only after something is finished or proven. Love gently releases you from this condition. If rest depends on completion, it will always be postponed. There will always be something else to address. Love offers rest as a present reality, not a reward for future effort. You are allowed to rest now, even if everything is not resolved. Especially if everything is not resolved. Learning to rest without guilt also reshapes how you view trust. Trust is not only believing that things will work out. It is believing that you can pause without everything falling apart. Rest is an expression of trust that you are not the sole force holding your life together. Love carries what you set down. You do not have to remain vigilant at all times for care to continue. Allowing yourself to rest is a way of acknowledging that support exists beyond your effort. You may need to practice rest in small ways at first. Brief pauses, gentle moments of stillness, moments where you choose not to engage with every anxious thought. Love honors these small beginnings. Rest does not need to be dramatic to be effective. Even short moments of release can gradually retrain your nervous system, reminding it that safety does not depend on constant alertness. As guilt softens, you may notice a subtle shift in how you relate to yourself. The inner voice that once demanded more may become quieter, less insistent. In its place, a gentler awareness may emerge, one that recognizes effort without demanding more of it. Love nurtures this gentleness patiently. It does not expect immediate change. It allows rest to reshape you slowly, at a pace your system can sustain. Rest also deepens your ability to receive. When you are always giving, always striving, receiving can feel unfamiliar or undeserved. Love invites you to practice receiving without justification. Care does not require explanation. You do not have to explain why you are tired in order to be allowed to rest. Your tiredness is reason enough. There may be moments when guilt returns unexpectedly, even after you have experienced the benefits of rest. Love does not interpret this as regression. Patterns formed over years take time to soften. Each time guilt arises, you have another opportunity to respond differently, to choose compassion over judgment. This repetition is part of learning. Love remains patient with the process. As you continue to rest without guilt, you may notice that your sense of urgency begins to change. What once felt critical may feel less consuming. This does not mean you care less. It means you are caring from a place that is not constantly depleted. Rest allows you to engage with life more sustainably, without the sharp edges of burnout. You are not weak for needing rest. You are not irresponsible for taking it. You are human. Love designed you with limits not as flaws, but as invitations to trust. Each time you rest, you accept that invitation a little more fully. Let yourself pause here. You do not need to prove anything in this moment. You do not need to justify your stillness. You are allowed to rest because you are loved, not because you have earned it. Love remains with you in the quiet, steady, and unhurried, holding you as you learn that rest is not something to feel guilty for, but something to be grateful for. There are moments when weakness becomes impossible to ignore, when your energy runs low and the strength you once relied on no longer responds the way it used to. In these moments, weakness can feel exposed, almost threatening, as though it reveals something about you that you would rather keep hidden. You may wonder if being weak means you are failing, if it means you have lost ground or disappointed expectations placed on you by others or by yourself. Love sees this fear clearly. It understands how easily weakness becomes associated with loss of value. But weakness does not place you outside of care, places you closer to it. Weakness often arrives after effort has been sustained for a long time. It is not the absence of strength, but the result of having used it faithfully. Love does not view your weakness as a problem to be corrected. It views it as a signal that you have reached a place where support is needed more than self-reliance. You are not meant to carry everything on your own indefinitely. Being held is not a failure of strength. It is a continuation of care when strength has been spent. When you are weak, you may feel more vulnerable to doubt, more sensitive to uncertainty, more affected by small disappointments. This sensitivity can make you feel unstable, as if you are no longer grounded. Love does not withdraw during these times. It becomes steadier. You are not required to stabilize yourself before being supported. Support meets you where you are, not where you wish you could be. Weakness does not repel love. It invites closeness. There may be a quiet shame attached to weakness, especially if you have learned to value independence and resilience. You may feel pressure to recover quickly, to hide how tired you are, to return to a version of yourself that feels more capable. Love does not rush your recovery. It does not demand that you become strong again before you are worthy of presence. You are allowed to remain where you are without apology. Love is patient with your pace. Weakness can make you feel uncertain about your ability to continue, to make decisions, or to trust yourself. You may question whether you can handle what lies ahead if you already feel depleted. Love does not answer this question with pressure. It answers with reassurance. You do not have to carry the future right now. You only have to be here. Being here is enough. The strength you need will not be demanded all at once. It will meet you gradually as you are able to receive it. There is a difference between weakness and abandonment. Weakness can make you feel alone, but it does not mean you are unsupported. Love remains close when you feel most fragile. It does not expect you to be confident or certain. It simply remains. This presence does not require explanation. It does not ask you to justify why you are tired or why you cannot do more. It understands without needing words. In weakness, you may become more aware of your limitations. This awareness can feel discouraging if you interpret it as loss. Love invites you to see it differently. Limitations are not failures. They are boundaries that protect you from being consumed by what you cannot sustain. Recognizing your limits allows you to receive help instead of forcing endurance beyond what is healthy. Love works within these limits, not against them. You may notice that when you are weak, you become more honest, more aware of your needs, more willing to admit that you cannot manage everything. This honesty is not a setback. It is a doorway. Love enters through honesty more easily than through pretense. You do not have to present a strong version of yourself to be cared for. You are cared for as you are. Weakness also has a way of slowing you down. When energy is limited, priorities shift. What once felt urgent may now feel less important. Love uses this slowing not to restrict you, but to protect you. Slowing down allows you to focus on what truly matters, to conserve energy for what is essential rather than expending it on what is merely demanding. Weakness can become a form of guidance, gently redirecting you towards sustainability. You may fear that weakness will last forever, that this reduced capacity is your new permanent state. Love does not frame weakness as a final condition. It sees it as a season. Seasons change, often gradually and quietly. You're not required to predict when this season will end. You're only asked to remain supported within it. Love holds you without setting an expiration date on care. There can be grief in weakness, grief for what you used to be able to do, for how you used to feel. Love allows space for this grief. You don't have to pretend that loss is not painful. Acknowledging grief does not mean you are ungrateful. It means you are honest. Love honors honesty, even when it includes sorrow. Weakness can also soften your expectations of others. When you are aware of your own fragility, you may become more patient with the struggles you see around you. This patience is not a loss of standards. It is an expansion of compassion. Love often deepens compassion through vulnerability rather than through success. You're becoming more attuned to the reality that everyone carries limits, even if they are not always visible. When you feel weak, you may worry that you are a burden, that needing support makes you inconvenient or difficult. Love does not see you as a burden. Needing support does not diminish your worth. Relationships are not measured by how little you require, but by how safely you can receive care. You are not asking for too much by needing help. You're responding honestly to your condition. There's a quiet strength in allowing yourself to be held. It requires trust to stop resisting your own limits, to accept care without apology. This trust does not come easily, especially if you have learned to rely primarily on yourself. Love builds this trust gently, through consistency rather than persuasion. Each time you allow yourself to rest into support, trust grows a little more. Weakness does not cancel purpose. It refines it. Purpose does not disappear when you slow down. It adapts. Love does not withdraw meaning from your life because you are tired. Meaning remains even when your contribution looks different than before. You're still valuable, still needed, still seen. As you sit with your weakness, notice that you are not falling apart. You are being held together in a different way. The support may feel subtle, quiet, less dramatic than you expected, but it is steady. It does not fluctuate with your energy or confidence. Love remains constant, holding you when you cannot hold yourself. You do not need to overcome weakness to be loved. You do not need to hide it to be accepted. You are still held in weakness, just as you are held in strength. Love does not prefer one version of you over another. It remains with you through every season. Stay here for a moment. Let yourself be supported without explanation. You are not alone in this. You are not failing. You are being carried gently and faithfully even now. There are seasons when healing does not announce itself, when there is no clear moment you can point to and say that everything changed. Instead, healing begins quietly, beneath the surface, in ways that are easy to overlook. You may not feel different right away. You may not notice improvement from one day to the next. Love understands this kind of healing. It knows that not all restoration arrives with clarity or relief. Some healing works slowly, reshaping you from the inside before it becomes visible on the outside. Quiet healing often feels like nothing is happening. This can be discouraging if you are looking for signs of progress. Love invites you to consider that absence of sensation does not mean absence of work. Just as roots grow unseen beneath the ground, healing strengthens parts of you that do not need immediate display. You are not stuck because you cannot see change. You are being renewed in places that require patience rather than observation. There may be habits of thought and feeling that have formed over years, patterns shaped by disappointment, loss, or survival. These patterns do not disappear suddenly. Love does not force them out of you. It softens them gradually, allowing new responses to take shape without overwhelming you. Quiet healing respects your limits. It does not tear down defenses before you are ready to live without them. You may notice subtle shifts before obvious ones. Perhaps you react a little less strongly to situations that once overwhelmed you. Perhaps you recover more quickly after moments of discouragement. These changes can feel insignificant compared to the pain you remember, but they are meaningful. Love values these small shifts. They are signs that healing is taking root, even if it does not yet feel complete. Quiet healing also includes learning what you no longer need to carry. Over time, you may find that certain worries lose their intensity, that some fears no longer dominate your thoughts the way they once did. This does not mean fear disappears entirely. It means it no longer controls you. Love works toward freedom, not perfection. Freedom often arrives gradually, through repeated experiences of safety rather than sudden breakthroughs. There can be impatience when healing is slow. You may want to move past this season, to return to a sense of normalcy or strength that feels familiar. Love understands this desire. It does not criticize you for wanting relief, but it also reminds you that rushing healing can cause harm. Some wounds need time to close properly. Quiet healing allows you to rebuild without reopening what has already begun to mend. You may compare your process to others, noticing how some people seem to recover quickly or move forward with confidence. Love gently redirects your attention inward. Healing is not a competition. There is no standard timeline you are expected to meet. Your process is shaped by your experiences, your sensitivity, your needs. Love honors this uniqueness. It does not measure your progress against anyone else's. Quiet healing often unfolds through ordinary moments rather than dramatic events. Calm conversation, a restful night, a moment when you choose kindness toward yourself instead of criticism. These moments may seem small, but they accumulate. Love weaves them together, forming stability over time. Healing does not always feel like progress. Sometimes it feels like consistency, like learning to exist without constant disruption. There may be days when old pain resurfaces unexpectedly, making you question whether healing has truly begun. Love does not see this as regression. Healing is not linear. Old wounds can ache even as they are closing. These moments do not erase the work that has been done. They simply remind you that healing involves layers, not erasure. Love remains patient with these layers. Quiet healing also involves rebuilding trust, not only in love, but in yourself. You may begin to trust your reactions more, to feel less afraid of your emotions. This trust grows slowly, through repeated experiences of being supported even when you are honest about how you feel. Love encourages this honesty. It knows that healing requires truth, not suppression. You may not yet feel whole, and that is okay. Healing does not require you to feel complete before it can be real. Love does not wait for you to be finished to remain with you. It stays through the process, through the uncertainty, through the moments when you are unsure whether anything is changing at all. There is a gentleness to quiet healing that can feel unfamiliar if you are used to dramatic change. Gentleness may feel too slow, too subtle to trust. Love invites you to stay with it anyway. Gentleness protects what is fragile. It allows growth without shock. You are not being neglected by the pace of healing. You are being cared for. As quiet healing continues, you may find that your capacity for rest increases, that your need for constant vigilance decreases. This does not happen overnight. It emerges as your system learns that safety can be sustained. Love provides this safety consistently, allowing your body and mind to settle gradually. Healing beneath the surface often prepares you for future challenges in ways you cannot yet see. Strength gained quietly is often more resilient than strength built through pressure. Love values resilience over appearance. It builds you from the inside out, ensuring that what grows will endure. You may still have questions. You may still have moments of doubt. Quiet healing does not remove uncertainty entirely. It changes how you relate to it. Instead of being overwhelmed by questions, you learn to hold them with more ease. Love supports this shift, offering steadiness rather than answers. As you reflect on where you are now compared to where you were before, be gentle with yourself. Do not dismiss the progress that is difficult to see. Healing is happening, even if it does not announce itself. Love is at work beneath the surface, attentive and patient. You are not required to feel healed in order to be healing. You are not required to see change in order for change to be occurring. Quiet healing respects your pace, your story, your needs. Stay here for a moment. Allow yourself to trust that something good is unfolding, even if you cannot yet name it. You are being restored in ways that matter, even in silence, even beneath the surface. Love remains with you, steady and faithful. As healing continues quietly within you, there are times when you may expect God's presence to appear only in significant moments, in breakthroughs, answers, or unmistakable signs. When those moments do not come, it can feel as though presence itself is distant. Love gently reminds you that presence is not limited to extraordinary experiences. It is woven into the ordinary rhythms of your life, quietly accompanying you through moments that seem small or insignificant. God's presence does not require drama to be real. It remains steady in the everyday. You may overlook these moments because they do not match what you imagine presence should feel like. You may expect clarity, peace, or reassurance to arrive all at once. But love often chooses subtlety. It meets you in routines, in pauses, in the familiar spaces you move through without thinking. Presence is found in the simple act of waking up, in the breath you take without effort, in the way the day unfolds even when you feel uncertain. These moments may not feel spiritual, but they are not separate from care. In daily life, God's presence often reveals itself through consistency rather than intensity. It is there when you complete tasks without recognition, when you show up despite fatigue, when you continue even though motivation feels low. Love sees these moments clearly. They are not overlooked because they seem ordinary. They matter precisely because they reflect faithfulness without display. You may notice presence in moments of quiet awareness, when your thoughts slow briefly and you feel grounded in where you are. These moments do not always last long. They do not need to. Love does not measure presence by duration. Even brief awareness can remind you that you are not moving through life alone. God's presence is not fragile. It does not disappear when your attention shifts. Daily life includes responsibilities that can feel repetitive or draining. You may wonder how presence fits into tasks that feel disconnected from meaning. Love meets you there as well. Presence does not require ideal circumstances. It accompanies you in the mundane, offering steadiness rather than excitement. When you approach daily responsibilities with honesty rather than resistance, you create space for presence to be recognized. You may find that God's presence becomes more noticeable when you release the expectation that it should feel a certain way. Presence does not always bring comfort immediately. Sometimes it brings grounding. Sometimes it brings patience. Sometimes it simply brings the ability to continue. These forms of presence may not feel remarkable, but they are sustaining. There are moments in daily life when you may feel especially alone, even in familiar environments. Loneliness can arise unexpectedly, triggered by comparison, fatigue, or unspoken needs. Love does not avoid these moments. It enters them quietly, offering companionship rather than solutions. God's presence does not remove loneliness instantly. It sits with you in it, reminding you that isolation is not the same as abandonment. You may notice presence through moments of care you extend to others, even when you feel limited yourself. Acts of kindness, patience, or understanding can become expressions of presence moving through you. Love does not require abundance to be shared. Even when your energy is low, presence can still flow gently through your actions. Daily life also includes moments of joy that arrive without warning. A brief laugh, a moment of beauty, a sense of relief. These moments are not accidental. Love allows them to surface as reminders that goodness still exists alongside struggle. You do not have to feel joyful all the time to acknowledge these moments. Simply noticing them is enough. God's presence in daily life does not compete with your emotions. It remains whether you feel hopeful or discouraged, calm or restless. You do not need to feel spiritual to be accompanied. Presence does not depend on your awareness. It is not activated by effort. It is constant. As you move through your days, you may begin to notice that presence feels less like something you search for and more like something you recognize. This recognition develops slowly, through repeated experiences of being supported even when you are not consciously seeking support. Love allows this recognition to grow naturally. You may also notice that daily presence encourages you to be gentler with yourself. When you feel accompanied, there is less urgency to prove your worth or justify your pace. You begin to allow yourself to exist without constant evaluation. This gentleness is not weakness. It is alignment with care. God's presence does not require you to escape your daily life to be meaningful. It is already there within it. You are not missing it because you are busy or distracted. You are learning to notice it gradually as your attention softens and your expectations shift. There may be days when presence feels less obvious, when routine feels heavy and awareness feels dull. Love does not withdraw on those days. Presence does not fluctuate with your sensitivity. It remains steady and patient, waiting to be noticed again without demanding it. Daily life is not a barrier to connection. It is the place where connection lives. Love does not separate the sacred from the ordinary. It meets you where you are, exactly as you are, within the life you are already living. As you continue to move through your days, allow yourself to trust that you are accompanied even when you are not thinking about it. You do not need to search constantly. You are not required to maintain awareness at all times. presence is not something you can lose. Stay here for a moment. Let this truth settle quietly. God's presence is not distant or reserved for special occasions. It is with you now, in this ordinary moment, steady and gentle, walking with you through daily life. There are moments when thinking too far ahead feels overwhelming, when imagining the future brings more anxiety than comfort. You may feel uncertain not only about where you are going, but about how you are supposed to get there. In these moments, trust can feel abstract, almost unreachable. Love does not ask you to trust the entire path at once. It invites you to trust the next step, the one that is close enough to feel possible. The next step does not require complete clarity. It does not demand confidence or certainty. It simply asks for willingness. You do not need to see the whole picture to move forward gently. Love understands that your vision may be limited right now. It does not criticize this limitation. It works within it. Trust begins where you are, not where you think you should be. You may hesitate because you are afraid of making the wrong choice. Past experiences may have taught you that decisions can lead to loss or disappointment. Love acknowledges this fear without amplifying it. It reminds you that not every step needs to be permanent to be meaningful. Some steps are simply invitations to learn, to adjust, to grow. You are not required to get everything right on the first attempt. Trusting the next step also means accepting that progress can be small. In a world that values visible achievement, small steps can feel insignificant. Love sees them differently. Small steps build stability. They allow you to move without overwhelming yourself. You are not falling behind because you are moving slowly. You are honoring your capacity. There may be times when the next step feels unclear, when even small movement feels uncertain. Love does not push you forward harshly. It allows you to pause without labeling the pause as failure. Sometimes the next step is rest. Sometimes it is waiting a little longer. Trust includes knowing when not to move as much as knowing when to act. You may notice a desire to wait until you feel ready, until fear disappears or confidence appears. Love gently reminds you that readiness is often revealed through movement, not before it. You do not need to feel fearless to take a step. You only need to feel supported. Support is already present, even if fear remains. Trusting the next step does not mean ignoring wisdom or discernment. It means allowing discernment to develop gradually rather than demanding immediate certainty. Love does not rush your understanding. It allows insight to emerge as you move, adjusting your direction as needed. You are not locked into one path by a single decision. There is grace in incremental trust. Each step you take builds familiarity with support. Over time, you begin to recognize that you are not navigating alone. Even when steps lead to unexpected outcomes, love remains. Mistakes do not remove care. Detours do not cancel presence. Trust grows as you experience consistency rather than perfection. You may compare your pace to others, feeling pressure to move faster or more decisively. Love does not measure your progress against anyone else's. It measures faithfulness by attentiveness, not speed. Your path does not need to resemble anyone else's to be valid. You are allowed to move at a pace that honors your healing. There may be moments when trusting the next step feels like an act of vulnerability. It requires admitting that you do not have full control. Love does not use this vulnerability against you. It meets you within it. Vulnerability is not weakness here. It is openness to being guided rather than driven by fear. As you take small steps, you may begin to notice subtle signs of alignment, moments when things feel slightly more stable or less tense. These moments are not guarantees of future ease, but they are reminders that movement can bring clarity over time. Love uses experience to teach trust, not explanation alone. You are not expected to move forward with enthusiasm. Neutral willingness is enough. Even reluctance does not disqualify you. Love does not require emotional readiness. It provides steadiness so that you can move without collapsing under pressure. Trusting the next step also means accepting that uncertainty will remain. Trust does not eliminate uncertainty. It changes your relationship with it. Instead of being paralyzed by what you do not know, you learn to coexist with it. Love provides the stability that uncertainty lacks. You may find that as you practice trusting one step at a time, your anxiety about the future softens. Not because the future becomes predictable, but because you become more confident in your ability to navigate it with support. Love does not promise ease. Promises presence. The next step does not need to be impressive. It does not need to resolve everything. It simply needs to be honest. Honest movement respects where you are and what you can carry. Love honors this honesty. As you consider what comes next, allow yourself to release the pressure to know everything. You are not required to map the future before you move. You are only invited to remain open to guidance as it unfolds. You can trust the next step because you are not stepping into emptiness. You are stepping into care that moves with you. Even if the ground feels unfamiliar, it is not unsupported. Stay here for a moment. Let the idea of one step settle gently. You do not have to rush. You do not have to see far ahead. The next step is enough for now. Love will meet you there, just as it has met you here. There is nothing more you need to do in this moment. You have walked through waiting, tired faith, release, rest, weakness, healing, presence, and trust. Now you are allowed to simply be. Love does not ask you to move forward right now. It does not ask you to understand more or try harder. It invites you to rest in what has already been given. You do not need to hold your life tightly for it to remain meaningful. Even as you loosen your grip, care remains steady. Love is not dependent on your effort, your clarity, or your strength. It stays with you when you are active and when you are still. Nothing about this moment places you at risk of being forgotten. You may feel the quiet settling around you now, softer than before. This quiet is not empty. It is filled with reassurance that does not need words. You are not required to respond to it in any particular way. Simply allowing it to be present is enough. Rest does not need permission beyond your willingness to receive it. Whatever questions remain do not need answers tonight. They can rest with you, held gently, without urgency. Love is not threatened by unanswered questions. It remains patient, knowing that understanding will come in its own time, if and when it is needed. You are not behind because you do not have clarity yet. If your body feels tired, allow it to relax. If your thoughts feel heavy, allow them to slow. There is no need to monitor yourself or stay alert. Love watches over what you release. You are not responsible for carrying everything through the night. You are not required to be strong here. You are not required to be faithful in a way that costs you rest. Faith can be quiet. Trust can be gentle. Presence can be enough. You are allowed to exist without proving anything. There may be parts of you that are still guarded, still uncertain. Love does not demand access to every part at once. It waits patiently, respecting your pace. You are safe to open slowly or not at all in this moment. Safety does not depend on vulnerability. As you breathe, notice that you are still here, still supported, still held. Nothing essential has been lost. Even in silence, even in rest, even in stillness, you remain remembered. Love does not drift away when you become quiet. It draws closer. You can allow your awareness to soften now. You do not need to stay focused on these words. Let them fade into the background if that feels natural. Rest does not require attention. It only requires permission. If sleep comes, let it come without resistance. If it does not, that is also okay. Love remains with you regardless. There is no correct outcome for this moment. Being here is enough. You do not need to carry tomorrow tonight. Tomorrow will arrive with its own support. For now, this moment is all that is asked of you, and even that is held gently. You are not alone in the quiet. Remain here as long as you need. Let the day release you. Let the waiting pause. Let the questions rest. Love remains, steady and unchanging, through every breath. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not alone. Rest now.